Albert Einstein, the great scientist of the 20th century, having spent years of exploring the complexities of the cosmos, the world, the universe that we live in, and having also seen the need for deeper understanding of inner realities of human life, masterfully wrote once that science without religion is lame, and religion without science is blind. What he means, therefore, my dear friends, is that in these modern times, science has to seek the very depth of religions, and also the religions have to look for beauty and the complexities of science in order that science enriches religions and religions engulfs scientific discoveries, so that we may seek the ultimate truths of the world and the life that we live in. Today, my dear friends, as we celebrate the feast of the Epiphany of the Lord, Epiphany means a revelation of the divine, God becoming clearer, God unraveling himself, God showing his own presence among his people. We do see in the gospel passage taken from the Gospel of Matthew, in its own exploration of the infancy narratives, as we call them, we are told about three kings, the Magi, who came from the east. And on the other side, or juxtaposed with this presence or the searching three kings from the east, we have the story of Herod, who was so paranoid, so caught up with himself, and of course, obviously, though being a man of religions, but a man who has lost his own inner depth. Herod, trying to kill the newborn Son of God. And these three other kings looking for, searching for, and seeking the truths of the liberation of mankind. Living in the 21st century, my dear friends, we often hear people who say that they do not want to be part of the recognized or organized religions, or be part of an institutional religion, as it were. What they say is the dogmas that are taught, or the theologies or philosophies that are proclaimed by the different religions, do not make much sense to them. But at the same time, there are increasing number of people who would say that they are in a search, they are seeking, they are looking for more depth, and so therefore we can call them the seekers, or people who are searching. And what does it mean to be seeking? Is it important that we search for meaning and looking for deeper understanding of the truths of life? Yes. When we read the text today, we can see the difference between the wise men from the east, who were seekers, who were looking for depth, and who were, in other words, the scientists of that time, looking at the stars, making measurements, coming to understand that there is something that connects the entire cosmos with the presence of God. And that is what led them to the Lord. But on the other hand, we have King Herod, who was, of course, part of the political and religious structure of his time, who was so paranoid about his own existence, and who was so conscious about his own position and his survival as a king, or having his power, so absorbed with his own inner ego. There is the story of the Epiphany today. Now, what does it mean to be a seeker? Because when you are a seeker, you have an open mind. When you are a seeker, you also look for greater truths. You ask questions. You try to analyze. You try to bring more sense into what you already know. Because it is important today, in these times where science and technology is advancing so fast, that we as believers truly look for greater integration of the wisdom of the world and the truths of the cosmos, and then try to see through what revelations that God is making in and through the modern day scientific discoveries. And that is why when you are a seeker, when you are honestly seeking and looking for depth and meaning and unraveling the truths of life, you become one-on-one with the presence of the Messiah. Now, also, my dear friends, when you listen to many people who say that they do not want to be part of an organized religion, they do not want to be part of an institutional religious life, what you really find is that these are men and women who are honestly seeking for greater truths. And it is what will take us to deeper and more meaningful understanding of Christianity. My dear friends, it was Albert Einstein himself who once said, "Look deep into nature and you will understand everything better." What does that mean? Because in order to understand the beauty of God that we believe in, we need to look deep into the presence of the complexities of nature itself. The more you go deep into it, the more you come to realize the mystery of life itself, which unravels to us the presence of sacredness. That means revelations of God. Now, as we say, the three wise men from the East were scientists of that time. The more you get deeply involved in genuine searching of the truth, then God unravels himself, God reveals himself. And that is why today there are increasing number of men and women, genuine seekers, who come to realize the deeper understanding of God through their knowledge of scientific discoveries, through their involvement in technological advances. The more we become seekers, better it is for us. But at the same time, we can also see the paucity, the emptiness of the man called Herod. Herod was an empty shell of a man. Of course, he was a powerful person. He was accepted and recognized by the political and religious authorities of his time, but a man who was awfully empty and hollow within, because he was not a seeker. He was not a man who was genuinely searching for the truth. He was only caught up in his own ego world. So therefore, my dear friends, today the feast of the Epiphany of the Lord reminds all of us that in these 21st century, living in these modern times, that all of us have to become more and more attuned to what the scientific world is showing us, because they are themselves the revelations of God. Now, for example, my dear friends, the scientists who have taken seriously the whole question of dream analysis, more and more scientific knowledge there is, they come to realize that dreams are powerful communications of something that we cannot explain. Now, in the scriptures, you can see that most of the men and women who became true and authentic communicators of God's kingdom and His desires and His will for the people were people who were able to dream, and not only to dream but also to interpret these dreams. Why? Because that was something to do with God revealing Himself. The epiphany that happened through the understanding of dreams. Now, in the more scientific sense, those who study dream analysis, those who have taken to deep psychology, more and more scientists are convinced of the existence of God, not only the existence, but also the active work that God is doing within the life of human beings and also within the entire cosmos. So for us, as we celebrate the Feast of Epiphany of the Lord, remind ourselves the importance of becoming seekers like the three wise men from the East. The more you become a seeker, the better it is to understand the truths of Christianity. We can also choose to be just blind followers of what has been taught to us, and also thereby even find ourselves getting lost in the rigidity of what we believe without knowing, without having an experience of a deeper discovery and unraveling of God's mystery within ourselves. Amen.